We're going to start with. Hold on. We're going to start with Kareem, second row center. Kareem, gray jacket. Mhm.
That's the thing. I just hung out with all of you in the past few weeks.
Matt, do me a favor and just monitor that door in case Kurt ends up coming that way. Thank you. Mike said he's coming. We're just not sure which direction. Okay. All right, we'll begin right away with Kurt. Kurt, if you'd like to make an opening statement, go ahead.
You know, certainly disappointed for our locker room with the loss, knowing that we did so much that we wanted to accomplish defensively and got the game, the style of play that we were hoping for. But unfortunately, the big stat line difference tonight in a lot of areas was their ability to get to the foul line and play through contact, and we struggled to get to the foul line and any kind of offensive rhythm there in the second half, and that's a credit to their defense. But you know, really pleased with holding that high-powered offense down and got the style of play we wanted. So we're encouraged, but I'm disappointed that it didn't equate to a win.
Kurt, first question will come from the second row center.
Hey, Kurt, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post.
The second question, left
briefly.
side.
You guys worked so hard in that
first
second quarter to kind of bounce back, and then things flipped on in the third. What kind of changed coming out of halftime?
You know, halfway through the third, I felt, you know, still really that we were in a good position. And then the second half of that third quarter, they started to make some difficult shots, and we could not find any kind of offensive rhythm and missed some shots. We're certainly capable of forced some shots and got stagnated by their defense.
Coach Ross Goldenwood at ESPN. Nice to see you.
First row, second person.
There were
This
tough
side, this
shots
side.
again from Chelsea Gray. She's been doing it through the playoffs. What are the decisions you're making as a defense on your defense was there? Those were tough shots. She's just knocked it down on how to defend that and handle that when she's doing it.
Yeah, I was really pleased. Nothing came easy for Chelsea. You know, nearly every single shot again was contested or made difficult. So you got to be pleased with that. We forced her into 6 turnovers. She had a 1-to-2 assist to turnover ratio tonight. We did some good things. She just is a tough shot maker, but as long as they're contested, we're going to be pleased that, you know, over a course of 40 minutes, if you just continue to try to make them as difficult as possible. We gave her different looks. A lot of different people guarded her, so we tried to keep her off balance.
Right. Kurt's first row to your left.
Kurt Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. You're up by 6 when De'Erica Hamby comes in. She comes in for 10 minutes, blue collar minutes, and she goes out with Vegas up 4. We could talk about Asia, we could talk about Chelsea, but those 10 minutes De'Erica was in, the impact she had for them from your viewpoint.
Energy. I thought her 2 offensive rebounds were important to them in that stretch. She got them extra possessions, which led to baskets. I might be mistaken, but she might have the best plus minus on the team tonight for them. So those minutes were big, and it was the intangibles. It was the hustle and the rebounds. She runs the floor in transition. We've got mismatches. Nothing shows up in a stat sheet for her that way, but her effort creates mismatches right away in transition to their advantage.
Kurt, next question, third row to your left.
Kurt, Jose Volonte, Straight Bet Sports. Brianna Jones was the only spark off of the bench today. Can you talk about how important it is to get the bench more involved for the rest of these finals?
Second one in.
Yeah, we more than doubled their bench
Third row.
production, but that, has to tilt in our favor. Was really pleased with Breezy's first half. Again, Odyssey can bring us a spark. And, she did some good things defensively, and she'll run the team. Dejanay, young, and can be really impactful. And at times, with all that length around the rim, she couldn't find pass to the goal tonight. They did a good job crowding her, but we'll need those three moving forward.
Kurt, next question, third row to your right.
Hey Kurt, Mark Schindler, WNBA.com. It felt like you guys were really toying with lineups and matchups today, especially going bigger towards the end there. I was wondering how you felt in terms of game planning that and seeing how that reacted throughout the game.
Yeah, I think that's the luxury that we have, that we can play some enormous lineups because of the versatility of Alyssa Thomas to guard different people. Then there's the chess match. They played more zone as we went bigger. And you take some perimeter scoring off the floor when we have those big lineups. So there's a fun chess match going on within the game when those kind of things happen.
Kurt, next question, third row center.
Yeah, Coach M.A. Vocal, ESPN.com. Did you feel like Dewana was just having trouble getting into a rhythm today? Was it something defensive that they were doing that seemed like it impacted her from her scoring standpoint?
Yeah, I thought they were physical on her, but Dewana's going to step back. She's a true pro and a champion. I think we got her some 3-point looks that were good. We've got to continue to find ways where she can get into the mid range and get to the basket. So, she sees the ball go through the net, but they were physical with her tonight, but she's the ultimate pro and a champion pedigree for us. So we know she's going to bounce back. And let me take a moment and say congratulations.
Kurt, second row center.
Eden Lassie, Just Women's Sports. You guys were able to hold Kelsey to just 6 points in terms of their big three scores. Are you encouraged at all by that? And what did you see out of your defense in that regard?
Yeah, I thought, we tried to stay in place as best as possible on an elite scorer like Kelsey. She made a big three. She made a big, very difficult three in a big moment. So while she didn't have huge numbers, she made a big one. But again, overall, we just held that team in the 60s. We did so many good things defensively, and even some of the shots they made were extremely difficult. We've got to keep them off the foul line and do a better job that way.
Next question, Kurt, third row to your right.
Hi, Coach Nakai Duncan, Basketball News. You referenced the offensive rhythm. Looked like the Aces were pretty intentional about keeping ball screens on the sideline, particularly when you empty the corner. How was that something that you were expecting in terms of that coverage, and kind of how did you feel about your offensive process against that coverage?
Yeah, I thought we saw more ice coverage tonight. That's the terminology that they were using in our league. They were icing us to the sideline. I thought at moments we did good things. We talked about it at halftime. We'll adjust and make some adjustments through film with these guys tomorrow. But, they recognize what they were doing early. We have multiple plans against that. And again, it at times worked to open shots. We didn't always knock them down tonight.
Kurt, one more question to your right standing.
Kurt, Andy Amashta, Las Vegas Review-Journal. It seemed like you guys were really able to impose your game on the Aces in the second quarter, especially. What did you guys kind of do to throw them out of their offensive rhythm and really take control in that quarter?
You know, I think our composure, when it came out of the gates and didn't miss a shot for a while, you know, was a credit to that veteran crew. And as the game settled in, we found rhythms to get consecutive stops. The second quarter was huge for us, but we left some points out there. There was moments where I thought we had some really good offensive possessions and then missed some shots we're capable of making to really try to create some separation and going into halftime, and it didn't happen. But you know, credit to our composure, you know, with that shotgun start. You know, I always talk about the cannon effect, and they came shot out of the cannon and were dynamic early, and our defense settled in. We got to our pillars, we got to the game plan, and started to, you know, get the type of game that we feel we need in order to be successful.
Apologies, Kurt. We're going to go one more question. We're going to turn to Zoom. Jacqueline, go ahead.
Hi, Kurt. Just kind of going off of that, execution wise, what do you think the difference was between that second quarter and then the fourth quarter?
You know, I'm going to go back and look at the tape, Jackie, and see if we were getting the quality shots that we got in the second quarter. Obviously, there was more zone play. Some of that was a counter to our big lineup. You know, we've got to be efficient at times. We know we're going to see zone in stretches in this series. They're going to play more zone than they did all of the playoffs. I think they played 3 or 4 possessions against Seattle in totality. So we know we're going to see it. That was part of the fourth quarter. And again, we got a good 3 in the corner by Natisha, but not every possession was productive against their zone.
Kurt, thank you. Hold the Connecticut players because we're about to have Becky Hammond. Anybody who's going to have questions for Coach Hammond, let me know. All right, we're going to start these 3 right here, and then Maggie. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, Maggie. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. What? Start with Willie AP. Yep. 1, 2, 3. Are we being recorded? Okay. Oh, sorry, let it go. You know who we're going? You know who we're going? The first 2 guys here, and then the one under the paint mask. Thank you, Coach. If you'd like to make an opening remark, and then we'll go to questions.
Obviously, a battle. First half, I thought we talked about a lot of stuff and did 0 of it. And then third and fourth, they did. And they did it very well. So obviously we had a rough night offensively. Give credit to their defense and give credit to us missing. That was a little bit of both, but that's a tough team. This is where they like the score to be. And we'll go back, look at the film and make some adjustments. Happy that we won. It's better than losing, but there's a lot of things that we can do better.
Becky, first question will be to your left in the front row.
Becky, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. I'll let someone else ask about Asia and Chelsea. You and I sat yesterday and you were tossing and turning about De'Erica. She comes in and gives you 10 blue collar minutes. I felt like that was the spark. Down 6, she comes out, up 4. Please comment on De'Erica.
Well, she was phenomenal. She was ready to go. I just got to the point where I was like, my biggest, baddest beast is sitting over there. I just got to throw her in.
they want to play a rough game, she's my girl. So kudos to her being locked in, probably even ready to go more mentally than anything. That's a tough situation. She hasn't played a lot of minutes, and to come in and just be super solid gives us a lot of flexibility. I mean, you saw we went super big on that last defensive possession. Willie, I'm just pulling strings, trying to get a W. That's all I'm doing.
Next question to your left in the first row.
Hey, Coach, Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Congratulations on the win. You talked about just playing consistent as far as defensively. You guys really stepped it up, especially in the fourth quarter. Asia really got physical, which seemed like it set everything else off in a way where you guys can lead down to the win. But how do you get that consistency for 4 quarters in game 2?
Comes from them. I can try to push and prepare all the right ways, but at the end of the day, they got to decide they're going to go out and do it. And they did when they have 26 in the second half in the WNBA. That's hard work. And they just dug in. We ramped up our physicality. It felt like we had to get punched in the face before we reacted. And then once, you can take a little stinger, then all of a sudden you got your attention, and they woke up. So that's a team that, like, at the end of the day, they play so hard the entire game. They're relentless. That team is relentless. And so you can never let your foot off the gas.
Becky, next question, second row center.
Hey, Becky, Maggie Hendricks with Valley Sports.
Second.
Was there anything specific talked about at halftime that you think kind of lit a fire under them?
Oh, I was lit. I was lit. Because everything we had talked about, we didn't do any of it. And true to form, they just step up and do it then. I'm like I said, I don't even yell in my real life. But when you feel so strongly about how you have to play a certain way, and I feel very strongly offensively and defensively about how we have to play. When you go out there and you don't execute it, it's frustrating. But at the end of the day, they know it. They're smart. They get it. But they had beat us in every hustle category. And that can't happen. You can't lose a championship or a game or a quarter on hustle. That can never be the case.
Becky, next question, first row to your right.
Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun. Becky, off the hustle categories, 13 offensive rebounds for them today. Offensive rebounds were a big problem in the Seattle series too, I guess. Was it just a matter of their size, or is it just something else to that?
I mean, size is part of it, but it's about mentality. It's about being intentional. It's about being purposeful. When the shot goes up, you go find a body and you put yours on it.
And he'll be second.
And then go grab the ball. Some of the greatest rebounders ever in the history of the game. Rebecca Brunson was small. She was a monster because she had a mindset. You got to have a mindset that I'm going to go get the ball. I'm going to block you out. Thank God. And I'm going to go get the ball. That's it. You don't have to be the biggest and baddest. Be smart. Play with your feet. Be intentional about what you're doing. And then at the end of the day, it's all of us. It can't just be Asia getting this and Kia getting this. It's got to be Plum. I thought Plum's defense down the stretch really sparked. She just played hard. Her shot wasn't falling. She found other ways to impact the game. And at the end of the day, that's what you have to have, that kind of mentality. Okay, it's not falling for me today, but how can I still help my team? And she did that. They all did that in the second half. De'Erica, same thing. She didn't get a sniff in the first half. Comes out there and completely changes the aspect of the game. That's a pro, first of all. But just being ready to go, and it's a mentality. Her mentality is more of a physical mentality. That's what we needed, so that's what we pulled on. Rebounding is not about size. Size certainly helps, but that's not the final story. They are relentless on the glass. We feel if we can just keep it close we'll be doing well, because that's what they do best.
Becky, next question, second row to your left.
Roz Goldenwood at ESPN. Two-part, just to follow up on what this kind of line here is, you referenced twice, they didn't do what we discussed before the game, and you had to get lit with them in the locker room. What were the things you discussed coming into the game?
Points in the paint, rebounding, hustle points, transition points, second chance points. You can go down the list. We didn't do any of them until the second half.
Were you outside yourself? Were you more lit than usual in this halftime?
Yes.
Okay, now the second one. This is just something that we've been following since this whole playoff run. Chelsea Gray's shot making and one-on-one tough shots are captivating. Just curious for you as a coach, what that's like, encouraging her to be her, but also not wanting your offense to get stagnant in those moments when she does miss.
Yeah, so obviously, I can help her better. I can be better. Down the stretch, we can do some things. Obviously, they were very committed to taking her away. So there's a couple things that we could do, but the biggest play of the game that Chelsea made was the charge, a defensive play. Because that was a guaranteed two coming. They had, I believe, Thomas coming down the lane with nobody. It's green pastures, and that charge changed the whole game. So I'll do a better job of helping her. We do have other options is a good thing for me. She's just been on another planet. It's been working. I've been trying to stay out of her way, give her the ball. Tonight, we struggled a little bit. And we'll be better. Game two, I already know what we're gonna do. My mind's already reeling. So.
All right, we're gonna have two more questions, one within the room and then one on Zoom. Becky, standing to your right.
Andy Amashta, Las Vegas Review Journal. Becky, Brianna Jones had 10 points at halftime, seemed like a real problem for your defense. She finishes the game with 12. What was she doing in that first half that was causing you problems, and how did you solve that?
Well, she was getting super deep catches. She had a couple pick and pop situations where she knocked down a 12-footer, 10-footer. So she took what we gave her. We made a little bit of an adjustment at halftime with her. But after that, they went very big, and we just kind of sat in that zone and just mucked it up. And I thought just bringing a lot of bodies and congestion, but I thought she got some deep touches. I thought our pick and roll defense was problematic on the backside, not initially, where, and we'll go through some stuff, but schematically, we handled the pick and roll better, which helped us in the paint. Second half.
Last question, we'll go to Zoom. Chantel, go ahead, please.
Hey, Becky, Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. Age just sets the tone for this team on the floor, but I'm curious how you've seen her grow as a leader during this MVP season.
I think coming into it, you watch her on tape, this and that. Asia Wilson, her leadership, who she is, she got it factor. She gets it. She understands leadership. Because I didn't really know her as a person, I was watching like everybody else was watching from afar. Like, yeah, she got beast skills. She's a beast human. She's a good one. I'll go to battle with her any day.
Coach Hammond, thank you. Maybe we'll be joined next by the Connecticut players. Nick, just take the role. Nick, just take it. First two questions will come from the left. Third will be second row center. Kareem. First question will come from the first row to your left.
This question is for Alyssa Thomas. Becky earlier has mentioned how relentless you guys were on the glass, especially rebounding. You talk a little bit about just having that tenacity as far as the rebounding and defense and things of that nature, and what you have to do for game 2.
Yeah, I think that's been our identity all season is, playing hard, getting rebounds on the defense and offensive end, and just really trying to get second possessions when we're not hitting shots.
Next question, second row to your left.
Hey, John Crow. There we go, it's on. I'm curious how you would evaluate your team's decision-making, especially in the second half. And what were the Aces doing that made some of those decisions a little bit more difficult, or a lot of those shot clock violations?
I think it's on. I think we just have to be a little bit more aware of the shot clock. I think we were in positions where we could make plays later on, but we just weren't as aware of that. And so that's an easy fix. But ultimately, I'm happy with the game that we played, and we gave ourselves a good opportunity to come out there with a win, and it just didn't go our way, but we're excited about game 2.
Next question, second row center.
Hey, Brianna, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Quickie, what was the biggest difference defensively between the second and third quarter?
I think it's just it was just our intensity and everything. I think they were hitting some tough shots. They were getting to the free throw line. I think on the other end, we weren't attacking the basket as much as we were in the first half, and we settled. We didn't get to the free throw line as much as we wanted to. So I think it was just a battle of getting to the basket.
Next question, second row to your left.
Ross Goldenwood at ESPN. What's up, ladies? So I'm asking this because I've been with you for a little bit now. And the second half, the lid got tight on the basket. Was wondering, what was the spirit like in that time? Because you've talked about sometimes the pressure and the tension and missing shots. Then were you uplifted, or was it getting tight for a second there?
Well, I don't think it ever felt tight. I think it was just, it was just basketball. We're shooting shots and they weren't going in, but ultimately we were playing great defense as well. And so that's one of the things that I talked to you about is like, finding the wins within the game. And so, yes, we weren't hitting the shots that we know we can hit, but we were also playing good D. And so ultimately we'll be all right.
Next question, third row to your right.
Mark Schindler, WNBA.com. It's for UAT. You guys have been in this position before, having played in the finals. I'm kind of wondering, having been in that situation, having lost games in the finals before, when you're approaching that mentality after the game, how you're feeling, and what you take away that you maybe wouldn't have that first time around.
After this game, we have to have a lot of confidence. It's a 3-point game, and we had a chance to tie. So I think we're very confident, and we know that all you need is one, and then there's 2 games at our place. So there's some things we could clean up. Of course, we can make more shots, but overall, we played a hard game.
Next question, third row center.
Chris Rim, New York Times. For all of you, what kind of challenges does Asia present? And what does she do differently from other players you face when she's going like that?
I think she can score the ball. Ultimately, she's able to score at different levels. I think that's a tough challenge. She's attacking the rim really aggressively right now, so it's tough. So I think just throwing bodies at her, making sure we're congesting the lane with all really good players in this league. It's not just one person; it's a team effort. And I think we kind of locked in a little bit better in the second quarter with understanding that we have to show a little more bodies at her, give her more congestion, and kind of guard her as a team. So I think that was the biggest change.
2 more questions. We're going to start to your right, standing.
John Kell, Andy Amashta, Las Vegas Review Journal. John Kell, it seems like you guys were able to.
John Quell,
sorry. It seemed like you guys were really able to impose your game on the Aces, even though they came out with the win. What were you guys able to do to kind of throw them off of their offensive game?
Like AT said, we're a really tough defensive team, and coming into this series, we understood that it was going to be a really good offense against a really good defense, and that's what it's going to be. So I think it's just our MO. I think we were able to make the game a little bit messy, getting into them, making things tough, making them make extra passes, and that's what we do.
Last question will come from the third row to your left.
Jose Valente, Straight Bet Sports. Alyssa, You ladies have already played this team during the regular season, so you're very familiar with them and also beat them here once already. Is there anything new that you learned about this team today that you didn't know before during the regular season?
No, I mean, it's playoffs. Nothing matters in the regular season anymore, which we proved last series. It's 0-0. And today we came out, we played hard, and unfortunately they hit more shots than us, and we didn't get stops in timely manner. But there's a game 2, and we will watch the video and be prepared for the next game.
John Qual, Alyssa, Brianna, thank you.
Thank you.
I will be joined immediately by Las Vegas players.
She tried. She don't know about this. This is her first time seeing it. Hey, ma.
All right, red carpet questions will begin.
They got a while. We can walk in together. I had a long
We're going to start. First question. To your right, standing.
Oh, yeah. I can't let it touch the floor. I'm good. I ain't gonna put they can't touch the floor, sir. Can't touch the floor.
All right, now first question. Standing
And
to your right.
Andy Amash, the Las Vegas Review Journal. Jackie, Asia, first finals win in Las Vegas since last time it was in the bubble. You know, just what was the atmosphere around the game and how does it feel to have that under your belt?
It was a game we needed. It was a game we needed, not just necessarily because it was like, oh, it's our first win, but it was because this is something that's huge for us. These are statement games in a way. And when you're playing a good team like Con, you got to really lock in at all costs. So it was good to have a game underneath our belt. The crowd was great. Now we got to get ready for game 2.
Next question, fourth row to your right.
Asia in the back. For the most part, Chelsea Nicole Gray is known as the point.
Nichelle.
Chelsea Michelle Gray is known as your point guard. But tonight she really came through on the defense, taking that charge specifically. How important is she on your defense, and especially against this type of a team?
She's huge. She's huge for us. On both ends of the basketball, Chelsea is locked in and ready to go. And when you have your point guard that locked in, you have no choice but to do the same and just follow behind her. Everything that she does, I'm like, I'm gonna bet on you. I'm doubling down no matter what, because I trust her instinct. I trust the way she sees the game. And I know that last shot, she's not probably gonna sleep tonight, but she needs to get her rest. And I'm gonna be the first one to tell her next one. This is a series for a reason. We came out with a win. Let's try to see how we can change that and make it easier on you. That's my job. I don't get MVP without Chelsea. I don't get MVP without Jackie, and so on down the line. So if I can make their life easier so they can go out and be a great player, a two-way player, I'm all for it.
Next question, second row to your left.
Roz Goldenwood, ESPN. Got one for Chelsea and one for Asia. Chelsea, I'll start with you. We've been talking with various people coming through here and watching the shots you've been able to hit, a lot of them tough and captivating. What's that moment like for you, sizing up the defense? What are the advantages in those moments where the defense is still right in front of you that you can take advantage of?
I think it's like I've been in the gym practicing those types of things. So when it gets in the game, they're a little bit more of a natural feel. It's not something that that's out of the ordinary, and my teammates know that it's coming. My fadeaway, I'm able to get it off of long defenders. They have Alyssa Thomas, they have Dewana Bonner. So how can I get my shot off and be efficient with it and get to my spots and just use my legs?
Thank you. Asia, for you, as a team, we talk about you guys as high-flying offense, but Coach Kurt Miller came in and said we were able to dictate our style, held them to low scoring, and you still won. And you also held them. They had a hard time making a basket in the second half. Like, I guess, what do we need to know about you guys as a defensive and a tough and a physical team? Something that we don't always highlight when we talk about the Aces.
Yeah, no, I mean, coming into training camp, Becky really put a lot of emphasis on defense and rebounding. She said that's going to be us. That's going to be our identity. That's who we are in protecting Vegas. So when we come out, we have to have that mindset and locked in. And I think it just starts with me. I take full accountability of being the anchor of our defense side of basketball. And I mean, offense is going to come. We play well outside of our defense. So no matter what may be going on, no matter what the physicality of the game is, if we can get stops and play out of that, that's us. That's who we are. So yeah, a lot of people may not talk about how we do on the defensive end, but we've come a very, very long way. And we still have a lot of work to do. But I think we do take a lot of pride on getting it done on the defensive side, because that's the most important side. Like, yeah, they can hold us to, I don't know,
6 or 7.
yeah, however many, but at the end of the day, we have to also hold them down as well. So if we can play on both sides of the basketball and execute on the defensive end, I got us all the way.
Guys, I see a lot of hands out there with questions. We're going to get to as many as we can. We're going to go first row right.
Asia and Chelsea, Ben Pickman, Sports Illustrated. Can you just take us through what Becky said at halftime to you guys? She said she said she was more lit than usual.
We cannot. It is unedited. We got children watching. But she was just on us to play our style defensively. Offensive rate, we would let them to get offensive rebounds, easy scores, turn over the ball.
You mean that's that you didn't hear?
That's the edited version. I can't give you everything.
Were you surprised by how animated she was considering the first half?
Not at all.
Next question, also first row to your right.
Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun, for all three of you. Chelsea kind of touched on it, the offensive rebounds. I know they were a big problem in the Seattle series. What has to change for that going forward?
It's a want. It's a want, and it's that extra effort. We're at a point of the season where we have to give it our all no matter what. Even if you think you're not there, we got to still push through that wall. We got to still dig deep and be like, I have to secure this basketball, not only for myself and my defender not getting it, but for my team. That's more possessions for them or vice versa. So I think we just got to be really, really big on, guards coming through the elbows and bigs boxing out the bigs. So I think it's a collective effort from all of us to just wanting to attack it and go get it.
We're going to go Willie, Nick, Jackie, and Mike here. To your left standing.
Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Ladies, the edited version that Becky said that you weren't doing, it seemed like with about 4:33 left in the third, De'Erica came in and sparked this team. We could talk about your lazy stats, but that would seem to be the spark. Can you just comment on her play?
First of all, I like your suit. Real nice. Yeah, she changed the game for us. Hey, fresh, bro. She was huge for us. Like, she came in, energy plays. Like, it's not gonna show in the stat sheet. I think I got so hyped. I was just like, yeah, D. She was making all the right plays, whether it was assist or rebound, getting deflections. Like, we had a 24 violation when she was out there. Like, just the little things, she sparked it for us. And that's where, like, it was a turning point and we really took control of the game. It was all energy, hard effort. And that's hard to do. She was cold too. Like, she didn't have a warm up where she came into the game. She came in right away and was effective.
Next question, second row to your left.
Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Congratulations, ladies, on the win. This question's for Asia. You talked about defense and how Becky stressed defense, but if you look at Kelsey Plum, even though the shots may not have been falling her way, she really masterminded the defensive end. Just talk a little bit about, what her impact was as well, and how she was able to influence you guys down the stretch.
It's key. It's key. When it's not going your way on the offensive end and you can still be productive for your team on the defensive end, that's the sign of just a good all-around team. And I know she's probably gonna be sick tonight as well, but we got to regroup and refocus because we have a game too. But I think she's starting to prove herself that she can be out on the court and defend, even when it's not going her way on the offensive end. And that's growth. That's huge growth. So I think we just have people doing the right things at the right time. People are forming into their roles. And we've come a long way, but I think we're doing it the right way. And that's what it's all about. So, I'm proud of my teammates across the board. Even though it was a close game, we still just stayed mentally locked in. And I think that's a big sign of growth for us.
Next question, second row. Turnover. Next question, second row to your left.
Hi, Jackie Powell, Bleacher Report. Question for Asia and then Jackie. So Asia, Becky came in here and she sort of talked about your leadership style. She said that you have this it factor. I'm curious as to what you think she meant by that and how you describe your own leadership style.
I have no idea what Becky meant by that, but I am who I am. I'm just going to be there for my teammates, and I feel like I've developed relationships and bonds with each one of my teammates to where I know exactly how to talk to them and get the best out of them. I'm not going to talk to Chelsea the same way I talk to Jackie to get what we need out of them. But at the end of the day, I think this was probably the first time I turned up in timeouts today.
Man, she was lit.
I don't know what it was, but you just got to want it. And I never understood how important my role honestly was on this team until this year. I started just to form into the leadership role, and I can't do that without my teammates. They trust me, they believe in me to have that say. So I think my leadership style is I'm a vocal leader, but also very emotional leader, but I'm also gonna just go out there and hold it down for my team. So that's a leader, that's a leader.
Thank you. And Jackie, for you, I'm curious what the Aces style is defensively, if you could describe that, and what allowed you all to create the amount of shot clock violations that you got this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to be locked in defensively, execute our defensive schemes. We know we're a little bit smaller, so I think it's important for the guards to get rebounds. But I mean, the biggest thing is just trying to be physical, making it hard for their guards to get it, their posts to get it, and then just execute the defensive scheme whenever they do get it.
Next row, next question, center, third row.
Yeah, Asia and Jackie, if you guys could answer this. I know 2020 is a long time ago, it was in the bubble, but were there things maybe that you both learned from your experience in the finals before that helped coming out today in terms of, is there that little extra level you have to be at for a finals matchup?
You go first.
Yes, Jackie, we're gonna make you go first.
All right. I mean, I think just taking it one game at a time, this is what we worked for all season. And I think it was important for us to get this first win at home. The way team always tries to steal that first one. So I think just being locked in from the start was the biggest thing. And, just going back and looking at things from game one and trying to be better at it in game two. And so really just taking it one game at a time.
Yeah, I mean, and I think also what I've said this plenty of times, I think in the bubble, we were just happy to be there and also happy to leave. And I think now in the moment, it's like, okay, we know that feeling. It sucks getting swept. It's the worst thing ever. But that's the chip on your shoulder. That's the fire. That's the grind that you want to say, I don't want to get swept anymore. I don't even want to have a gentleman's suite. Like you want to go out there and play for your teammates because you felt the way that you felt in 2020 and you hate it. I still hate that, but at the end of the day, I'm walking into this series like we've earned to be here. Both teams, they deserve to be here. We've earned our way here. It wasn't an easy route at all, but we're here. So it's like, now what? It's not like oh yes, we're here. Like, oh my God, yes, the finals. We got a sticker on our uniform. No, like it's time to play. It's time to go out there and work because we deserve and we earned our way here.
We have time for just a couple more questions. Next, fourth row to your left.
Chelsea, what did you guys see back here to your left? What did you see, out of your defense in the second half there, just in terms of, your zone and how it was able to frustrate them?
I think we were working our way from the paint and out. A lot of times they were getting the ball in the paint. They were getting second chance points. Jackie mentioned it, like the guards got to come in and get some rebounds. There were a couple key rebounds where Kelsey came up and got some rebounds. Jackie followed it by the elbow, got some long rebounds that they were getting in the first half. And so we were able to get stops and rebounds. And that's always key. They feed off of that. That's their energy booster when we're turning over the ball and when they're offensive rebounding. So we clamp down there and make them take outside shots and not get too much into a flow.
Next question, third row to your right.
Chris Raymond, New York Times. On that final defensive possession, what was like the conversation and the focus for you all in terms of like, was there one person you were locking in on, or like what was the focus on that possession?
What was the final defensive possession?
When we were Lord, see what I go through in huddles. It was basically, no, it wasn't just one person. Obviously, they have Bonner, they have JJ. Like everybody's pretty much capable. capable of making a three. So we just wanted to lock in no threes and no and ones. A 2 doesn't hurt us. And that's always our mindset, just have high hands because we don't want to leave it in the ref's hands. We want to be able to get a stop. So it was key Bonner shot a shot with contested. If that ball goes in, we would be happy with our defense, but we got the stop and we got a rebound.
Next question, third row to your right.
Here we go. The guys Duncan basketball news. I have one for Chelsea and one for Asia. Chelsea, the Aces with a season of 8 assists today. How much of that was the half-court process, and how much of that just shots not falling?
They want to muck it up. That's their defensive scheme. We did miss some outside shots, and we're going to take the same ones. We've been working and it's natural in our offense. Those shots that we got, we're going to knock them down the next game. Second of all, I just got to do a better job of not turning the basketball over. And when we're able to play out of our defense, that's when we're flowing and kicking, penetrate, kick, hitting shooters. And that's the style of play that we want to do. But we just got to do a better job of taking care of it. 10 turnovers isn't bad, but I had freaking 6 of them. So just being locked in offensively a little bit more, but it won't be the same next game.
All right, our last 2 questions will come from Zoom. We're going to go to Chantel and then Stephen. Chantel, then Stephen. Chantel, go ahead.
Hey, Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. Question for Chelsea. You mentioned Asia kind of turning up in that fourth quarter timeout. That's not something we see super often. Sounds like it's not something you guys see super often. I'm just curious, when she does bring that sort of energy and leadership style, what does it do for the team?
It's you're waiting in the huddle and you're just like, what do we say? And she says the right thing in the right moment. And it gets us going. It's an energy boost. With that, it was some choice words, so I can't say everything that was said. But it's like we need to lock in. It's another level that we can go to. And so when you have your leader out there, just explaining, we can't just give it to them. We have to lock in ourselves. And that's what she was saying in the huddle. It gave us another energy boost to go get a stop, go get a rebound, do it for the next person. And so that got us going.
Our last question will come from Stephen.
Hey, ladies, congratulations on the win. Stephen Gunner from Nuts and Bull Sports. My question is Chelsea. So I think a lot of this series comes down to your production in terms of playing the pick and roll, because the Sun are good at playing chess at the level of the screen. So can you talk to that balance that you find in terms of when you're coming off screens, making your reads to make passes and keep flowing the offense versus going to get your own bucket?
It's all a balance game, not just in the pick and roll. The ball's in my hands a lot. So if I'm in a pick and roll, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's for me. It's not for the popper. It's not for the roller all the time. It's just we gotta see how they're guarding it. In a couple of those moments, I gotta be able to take care of it and execute out of the pick and roll. I know they were putting 2 on the ball. So it's really a feel thing, and depending on where everybody is on the floor, sometimes it's different when Asia comes into a pick versus when Kia comes into it. So just playing off of that and just making the right read.
Asia, Chelsea, Jackie, thank you. And to our media, thank you.
Thank you.
What?
Kevin.
Kevin.
They got a wallet. Did you see how she threw? That's crazy.
I'm sorry.